There comes a moment in life when you realize that waiting won't change anything, that hoping, wishing, and dreaming are just shadows without action. And that moment, that realization, is the most powerful shift you will ever experience. Because from that moment forward, you stop waiting for opportunities and you start creating them. You stop blaming circumstances and you start shaping them. You stop fearing failure and you start using it. Most people never get there. They talk about what they want. They make excuses for why they don't have it. They stay comfortable even when comfort is destroying them, but not you. Not today. Today, you decide that enough is enough. Today, you take the first step toward the life you were meant to live. The life that's waiting for you beyond your fears, beyond your doubts, beyond the limitations that you and everyone around you have placed on yourself. You weren't born to be average. You weren't born to be stuck. You weren't born to spend your days going through the motions, living the same year over and over again, calling it a life. No, you were born with a fire inside of you, a fire that too many have let burn out, a fire that life has tried to smother with rejection, failure, and disappointment. But let me tell you something. That fire is still there, you know? And without that fire, party is to the bug, It's still burning, and today you fan the flame. You want success? You want greatness? Then it's time to fight for it. It's time to push yourself past what's comfortable. It's time to do what others won't so you can live how others can't, because every dream has a price. Every goal has a sacrifice. And the question is not whether you're capable. The question is whether you're willing. This world will tell you to settle. It will tell you to take the easy road. It will try to convince you that you are not enough, that you don't have what it takes, that your past defines your future. But listen to me, the world is wrong. You are not your past. You are not your mistakes. You are not your failures. You are what you decide to be right now, in this moment. So decide that you will not stop. Decide that you will not quit. Decide that you will keep moving forward no matter how many times you fall, no matter how many times you hear the word no, no matter how many times you feel like giving up. Because the difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't talent, isn't luck, isn't intelligence. It's persistence. It's the ability to keep going when everything tells you to stop. You have greatness within you. You have strength you haven't even tapped into yet. And the only thing standing between you and the life you dream of is the action you take from this moment on. No more excuses, no more waiting, no more settling. It's time to rise, time to step up, time to unleash the power within you and show the world who you really are. Waiting is the silent killer of dreams. It lulls you into the false belief that tomorrow will be different, that conditions will improve, that opportunities will somehow land in your lap. But the truth is, waiting is just another word for procrastination. It is fear disguised as patience, hesitation disguised as wisdom. People wait because they are afraid of failure, afraid of rejection, afraid of stepping into the unknown. They convince themselves that they need more time, that they need to be more prepared, that they need someone else's approval before they can act. But none of that is true. The only thing they need is courage. The only thing they need is to take the first step, no matter how uncertain, no matter how unprepared they feel. The people who achieve greatness in this world are not the ones who waited for the perfect moment. They are the ones who acted despite their fears, who moved forward even when they didn't have all the answers. They are the ones who understood that progress is made in motion, that clarity comes from action, not contemplation. If you are waiting for permission to start, stop. If you are waiting for the right time, if you are waiting for everything to be perfect, stop. Because the perfect time does not exist. And every second you spend waiting is a second wasted. The moment you decide to stop waiting and start doing is the moment everything changes. Action creates momentum. The first step may feel small, but it is the most important step you will ever take. It sets things in motion. It tells the universe that you are serious, that you are ready. It shifts your mindset from wishing to doing, from hoping to making things happen. And once you take that first step, you will begin to see opportunities you never noticed before. Doors will open. that you didn't even know existed. People will come into your life who can help you along the way. But none of that happens if you don't move. Success is not reserved for the lucky or the privileged. It is reserved for the ones who refuse to wait, who refuse to settle, who refuse to let fear dictate their future. And the best part? You don't need permission. You don't need validation. You don't need anyone to tell you that you are ready. You are ready now. You always have been. The only thing left to do is act. Stop waiting. Start creating. This is your time. There comes a moment in life when you realize that waiting won't change anything, that hoping, wishing, and dreaming are just shadows without action. And that moment, that realization is the most powerful shift you will ever experience. Because from that moment forward, you stop waiting for opportunities and you start creating them. You stop blaming circumstances and you start shaping them. You stop fearing failure and you start using it. Most people never get there. They talk about what they want. They make excuses for why they don't have it. They stay comfortable even when comfort is destroying them, but not you, not today. Today, you decide that enough is enough. Today, you take the first step toward the life you were meant to live. The life that's waiting for you beyond your fears, beyond your doubts, beyond the limitations that you and everyone around you have placed on yourself. You weren't born to be average. You weren't born to be stuck. You weren't born to spend your days going through the motions, living the same year over and over again, calling it a life. No. You were born with a fire inside of you, a fire that too many have let burn out, a fire that life has tried to smother with rejection, failure, and disappointment. But let me tell you something. That fire is still there. It's still burning. And today, you fan the flames. You want success? You want greatness? Then it's time to fight for it. It's time to push yourself past what's comfortable. It's time to do what others won't so you can live how others can't. Because every dream has a price. Every goal has a sacrifice. And the question is not whether you're capable. The question is whether you're willing. This world will tell you to settle, will tell you to take the easy road. It will try to convince you that you are not enough, that you don't have what it takes, that your past defines your future. But listen to me, the world is wrong. You are not your past. You are not your mistakes. You are not your failures. You are what you decide to be right now, in this moment. You are not your circumstances. Too often, people allow their past experiences and failures to dictate their future. They think because they were born into poverty, they will stay in poverty. They think because they have made mistakes, they will always be held back by them. They believe that because they have been rejected, they are unworthy of success. This mindset is a trap, a prison of your own making. And the only way out is to change the way you think about yourself and your situation. Circumstances are nothing but a moment in time, a temporary state. They do not have the power to define you unless you let them. There are countless stories of people who have risen from the worst situations to achieve greatness. People who have failed over and over again, but refuse to let their failures become their identity. The difference between those who break free and those who stay stuck is not luck, not talent, but a mindset, a belief that they are more than their environment, more than their setbacks, more than their pain. The moment you decide that your past does not dictate your future is the moment you take control of your life. No one else will do it for you. No one else can. People will try to remind you of who you used to be. They will try to hold you down with their doubts, their fears, their limited perspective. But they are not you. They do not see what you see. They do not feel what you feel. They do not dream what you dream. You must rise above their voices, silence the negativity, and move forward with unshakable determination. The world does not owe you anything, and neither do your circumstances. But you owe it to yourself to fight, to push, to refuse to accept a life that is less than what you are capable of living. There will be days when it feels impossible, days when the weight of your past feels too heavy to carry. On those days, remind yourself that you have come too far to turn back now, that every step forward is a step closer to the life you deserve, that your circumstances are nothing compared to your will, your resilience, your fire. You are not your circumstances. You are what you choose to become. So choose wisely, choose boldly, choose to rise. There comes a moment in life when you realize that waiting won't change anything, that hoping, wishing, and dreaming are just shadows without action. And that moment, that realization, is the most powerful shift you will ever experience. Because from that moment forward, you stop waiting for opportunities and you start creating them. You stop blaming circumstances and you start shaping them. You stop fearing failure and you start using it. Most people never get there. They talk about what they want. They make excuses for why they don't have it. They stay comfortable even when comfort is destroying them. But not you, not today. Today, you decide that enough is enough. Today, you take the first step toward the life you were meant to live. The life that's waiting for you beyond your fears, beyond your doubts, beyond the limitations that you and everyone around you have placed on yourself. You weren't born to be average. You weren't born to be stuck. You weren't born to spend your days going through the motions, living the same year over and over again, calling it a life. No, you were born with a fire inside of you, a fire that too many have let burn out, a fire that life has tried to smother with rejection, failure, and disappointment. But let me tell you something. That fire is still there. It's still burning, and today you fan the flames. You weren't born to be average. You weren't born to blend in, to be another face in the crowd, another voice lost in the noise. You were born to stand out, to make an impact, to leave your mark on this world. That fire inside you, that passion, that hunger, it is the essence of who you are. But somewhere along the way, life tried to put it out. The doubts of others, the failures you experienced, the moments where you felt like giving up, all of it tried to convince you that your fire wasn't real, that you weren't meant for more, but they were wrong. The fire inside you is not gone. It has been buried under fear, under hesitation, under the weight of expectations that were never yours to carry. But it is still there, waiting for you to ignite it again. Too many people live their lives with that fire extinguished. They go to jobs they hate, stay in relationships that drain them, accept mediocrity as if it were their destiny. They silence their dreams because they think it's too late or because they've been told they aren't good enough. But you must understand that your fire is your power. It is what will push you forward when the road gets tough. It is what will separate you from the rest. It is what will make your dreams a reality. The only question is whether you will let it burn or let it fade. Fan the flames. Feed that fire every single day. Surround yourself with people who remind you of your greatness, who challenge you to be better, who push you when you feel like stopping. Consume knowledge, train your mind, sharpen your skills. Take risks, step into the unknown, embrace discomfort. Every challenge you face, every failure you experience, every setback you encounter, these are not signs that your fire should go out. They are fuel. Use them. Let them make you stronger, more determined, more unstoppable. You will meet resistance. You will hear people tell you to be realistic, to play it safe, to stop dreaming so big. Ignore them. Their voices are the voices of those who have let their own fire die, and now they fear your flames. They fear what you will become, what you will achieve, what you will prove is possible. Your fire is yours alone. No one can take it from you. No one can extinguish it unless you let them. So light it up. Let it burn so brightly that the world cannot ignore you. Let it guide you. Let it drive you. Let it consume every doubt and fear you've ever had. Because once you do that, once you commit to keeping that fire alive, there is nothing, absolutely nothing that can stop you. There comes a moment in life when you realize that waiting won't change anything, that hoping, wishing, and dreaming are just shadows without action. And that moment, that realization is the most powerful shift you will ever experience. Because from that moment forward, you stop waiting for opportunities and you start creating them. You stop blaming circumstances and you start shaping them. You stop fearing failure and you start using it. Most people never get there. They talk about what they want. They make excuses for why they don't have it. They stay comfortable even when comfort is destroying them. But not you, not today. Today, you decide that enough is enough. Today, you take the first step toward the life you were meant to live, the life that's waiting for you beyond your fears, beyond your doubts, beyond the limitations that you and everyone around you have placed on yourself. You weren't born to be average. You weren't born to be stuck. You weren't born to spend your days going through the motions, living the same year over and over again, calling it a life. No, you were born with a fire inside of you, a fire that too many have let burn out, a fire that life has tried to smother with rejection, failure, and disappointment. But let me tell you something. That fire is still there. It's still burning, and today you fan the flames. You want success? You want greatness? Then it's time to fight for it. It's time to push yourself past what's comfortable. It's time to do what others won't so you can live how others can't. Because every dream has a price. Every goal has a sacrifice. And the question is not whether you're capable. The question is whether you're willing. Every great achievement in history was paid for with sacrifice. People who build empires, who break records, who achieve greatness all understand one thing: nothing worth having comes without a cost. That cost is often time, effort, sleepless nights, failure, rejection, and pain. The road to success is littered with obstacles designed to test your resolve, to see how badly you really want it. Most people turn back at the first sign of struggle. They think success should come easy, that it should be handed to them, that just wanting it is enough. It is not. Wanting something means nothing without action. Saying you will do something is empty without execution. The ones who rise, the ones who stand at the top, are those who refuse to quit when it gets hard, who embrace the struggle, who understand that pain is temporary but greatness is forever. There will be moments when you question everything, when doubt creeps in, when you wonder if it's all worth it. That is the moment that defines you. Do you give in? Do you walk away? Or do you dig deeper, push harder, and prove to yourself that you are built for this? The ones who make it are not the ones who never fail. They are the ones who fail and keep going anyway. They sacrifice the distractions, the excuses, the comfort of staying where they are for the discomfort of growth. They give up the short-term pleasures for long-term success. They are willing to be misunderstood, to be doubted, to be criticized, because they know that what they are chasing is bigger than the opinions of others. The road is not easy, but that is what makes it worth it. If it were easy, everyone would do it. If it were easy, it wouldn't be special. You must decide what you are willing to give up to get where you want to be. You must be willing to sacrifice who you are now for who you are destined to become. The dream is free, but the hustle is sold separately. You cannot wish your way to success. You cannot hope your way to greatness. You must put in the work, take the hits, endure the hardships, and keep moving forward. Every sacrifice you make today is an investment in your future. Every moment of struggle is building the strength you need to stand tall when you reach the top. The pain, the rejection, the failures, they are not meant to stop you. They are meant to forge you into the person you need to be. So embrace the sacrifice, embrace the struggle, and understand that the price of greatness is always paid in full, never in discounts. Success is often seen as a product of innate talent, but the reality is that persistence is the key factor that separates those who succeed from those who don't. Talent may give someone a head start, but it is the consistent, determined effort over time that leads to true achievement. Talent, no matter how remarkable, can only take you so far if you don't have the perseverance to keep pushing through setbacks, failures, and obstacles. It's the willingness to keep going even when things are tough that ultimately determines success. Many people believe that if they were born with a particular skill set or natural ability, they would be successful right away. They look at successful individuals and assume that their achievements come easily because of their talent. However, what they fail to see are the countless hours of hard work, discipline, and determination that these individuals have invested behind the scenes. The people who truly excel in their fields are not necessarily the most gifted. They are the ones who refuse to give up in the face of adversity and continue to push forward no matter how difficult the journey becomes. Persistence is about more than just sticking to something when it's easy or convenient. It's about having the resilience to keep going even when success seems distant, when failure is imminent, or when the road ahead looks discouraging. It means showing up every day, doing the work, and learning from mistakes. It means putting in the effort, even when it feels like no progress is being made. In fact, persistence is what allows you to turn failure into a learning experience. While talent may give you a head start, persistence ensures that you keep going long enough to turn potential into reality. When we look at the stories of the most successful people throughout history, we see that persistence was a defining trait in their lives. Whether it was Thomas Edison, who failed thousands of times before finally inventing the light bulb, or J.K. Rowling, whose Harry Potter manuscript was rejected by multiple publishers before becoming a global phenomenon, their stories show the power of persistence. It's easy to admire their success in hindsight, but what often goes unnoticed is how long they kept going before achieving it. They didn't quit when the going got tough. They pushed through and found ways to make their dreams a reality. There are many examples of people who achieved success not because they had extraordinary talent, but because they were relentless in their pursuit of their goals. The difference between talent and persistence is that talent is passive. You're born with it or you're not, while persistence is an active choice that you can develop and cultivate over time. Persistence is about refusing to settle, about knowing that there will be struggles but choosing to face them head on, learning from every misstep along the way. It's about having the strength to rise after each fall and to keep moving forward despite the odds. Success often requires the ability to weather storms, to stay focused on the long-term goal, even when the short-term results don't seem promising. The person who can endure, who has the mental toughness to keep pushing forward, is the one who will eventually break through. Talent may give you a good start, but persistence will carry you across the finish line. The ones who succeed are the ones who stay in the game the longest, who continue to refine their skills, adapt to changing circumstances, and maintain a relentless belief that they can and will achieve their goals. In the end, success is not determined by how quickly you reach your destination, but by how consistently you keep moving toward it. Persistence over talent is the real secret to success because it is the one trait that cannot be taken away from you. It's something that you have the power to control. Talent may be a gift, but persistence is a choice, and it's the choice that makes all the difference. The world is full of pressure and expectations that try to push people into a mold, convincing them that the easiest path is the best one. Society often pushes individuals towards settling for a life of comfort and predictability, rather than encouraging them to pursue their passions, take risks, and chase their dreams. From an early age, we are conditioned to follow a prescribed set of rules. Get a stable job, follow the traditional path, and don't stray too far from what's considered safe. The world wants us to settle for mediocrity because it's easy, comfortable, and risk-free, but settling often means abandoning the potential for greatness. The temptation to take the easy road is powerful because it offers immediate satisfaction and security. It's tempting to conform, to fit in with the expectations of others, and to avoid rocking the boat. However, choosing the easy way out often leads to a life of unfulfilled dreams, missed opportunities, and regret. Greatness, on the other hand, requires discomfort, risk, and the willingness to step into the unknown. It's about refusing to accept the status quo and making the choice to rise above mediocrity. When you decide not to settle, you are choosing to reject the comfort of the familiar in favor of the potential for something greater. You are acknowledging that you are capable of more than what society expects of you. Refusing to settle means committing to growth, to the pursuit of excellence, and to creating a life that is truly your own. It requires the courage to push past the pressures that tell you to just be happy with what you have and to instead strive for something that feels right for you, even if it goes against conventional wisdom. The society often tells us that we should be content with what we have, that we should accept a life of stability and routine. But what many don't realize is that the real reward lies in the pursuit of something bigger, something that challenges you to grow, evolve, and make a mark on the world. Taking the path of least resistance may seem easier, but it will only lead to a life of complacency. The greatest achievements come from pushing beyond the limits that others have set for you, breaking free from the mold, and forging your own path. Choosing not to settle is about believing that your potential is limitless and that you have the ability to create a life that goes beyond what's expected of you. It requires vision, ambition, and the resilience to keep going even when the road gets tough. Life is full of opportunities to rise above, to choose a different path, and to show the world that you are willing to do what it takes to achieve your dreams. If you let society dictate your choices, you may miss the chance to live a life of true fulfillment. When you refuse to settle, you're embracing the idea that your worth is not tied to meeting society's expectations, but to living up to your own. Greatness doesn't come from following the crowd. It comes from being bold enough to step off the beaten path, to take risks, and to face challenges head on. It comes from the inner conviction that you are capable of far more than you've been told, and from the courage to refuse to accept anything less than your best. The world may try to make you settle, but you have the power to decide to rise, to choose greatness over mediocrity, and to live a life that reflects your true potential. Greatness is not a matter of chance. It is a deliberate choice that begins the moment you decide to rise above your circumstances and pursue something greater. The path to greatness is not a smooth one, nor is it reserved for the few who are born with extraordinary abilities. It's available to anyone willing to make the conscious decision to not quit, regardless of the obstacles they face. Choosing to rise means deciding to move beyond the limitations that others or even yourself might impose on you. It requires a mindset shift, from seeing challenges as roadblocks to viewing them as opportunities for growth and development. This decision is crucial because greatness doesn't come without struggle. There will always be moments when you feel defeated, when the weight of your dreams feels too heavy to carry, and when quitting seems like the easier option. But the individuals who achieve greatness are not those who avoid these moments. They are the ones who face them head on, armed with the decision to keep going. The choice to rise is a daily commitment, a constant reaffirmation of your will to push forward even when things feel impossible. It's about building resilience, about not allowing temporary setbacks to define your journey. The ability to rise lies in your determination to turn every setback into a lesson, to refuse to let failure be your final chapter. When you decide to rise, you are also deciding to rise above the noise, to resist the temptation to settle for mediocrity. Society, often more than we realize, will try to make us conform, to choose the easy path, to take the route that requires the least effort and presents the least resistance. But greatness demands more than conformity. It requires courage to step off the well-trodden path and carve your own way. And you must be willing to stand apart, to refuse to settle for what's easy and instead strive for what's meaningful. Choosing to rise means choosing to challenge yourself, to take risks, and to pursue goals that others may not even understand. The decision to rise is also about making peace with the fact that greatness is not achieved overnight. It's a lifelong pursuit, one that requires consistency, commitment, and an unwavering belief in your potential. The road to greatness is long and winding, but it begins with a single powerful decision to rise. Each and every. Your future is shaped by the decisions you make today, and the actions you take in this moment hold the power to determine the course of your life. It's easy to make excuses for why things aren't going the way you want them to. You might tell yourself that you don't have enough time, resources, or support, or that you're just not ready to take the next step. But every time you delay action, you're putting off the possibility of progress, leaving your dreams further out of reach. The truth is that the only thing standing between you and the future you desire is the decision to rise, to take control, and to stop waiting for circumstances to change before you take the leap. Procrastination and excuses often stem from fear of failure, fear of the unknown, or fear of not being good enough. It's easier to stay in a place of comfort and security, even if it means stagnation. But every time you allow fear to dictate your actions, you're choosing to stay where you are. Your future is not determined by your comfort zone, but by the courage you have to step out of it. The world will never hand you the perfect conditions for success. Instead, it will test your determination by throwing obstacles in your way. The key is to embrace the discomfort of taking action, knowing that each step you take, no matter how small, is progress toward the life you want. We often underestimate the power of small, consistent efforts. It's easy to think that change requires a grand, sweeping gesture, but in reality, it's the daily decisions, the ones that require you to show up, to keep going, and to push through challenges that compound over time to create significant transformation. When you decide to rise, you decide to take those small actions every day. You decide that your dreams are worth the effort and that you're willing to do what it takes to make them a reality. Taking control of your future means being proactive, making choices that align with your goals, and committing to the work required. It means not waiting for the right moment, but creating it by choosing to act. The most successful people didn't wait for things to fall into place. They decided to make their dreams happen and took the necessary steps to get there. Your future doesn't belong to anyone but you, and the actions you take today are the foundation upon which you will build it. So stop waiting, stop making excuses, and start taking control, because your future starts now.